Good morning, Wrestling Inc. Get up, get going. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Do the humpty dance, do the hump day dance, do the hump day dance. It's me, your managing editor for WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here as I am every Wednesday for our midweek dose of high-octane pro wrestling punditry. It is BWO Brian Wohl. Brian, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Morning, Nick. I can't believe you still have a voice after being at All Out on Sunday.
Oh, I got a voice. I got moves. I got all kinds of stuff here, B. Well, I'm feeling good, you know? How are you feeling, man? Like, I was there, obviously, but, like, you've been experiencing all of this pro wrestling with everybody else. How are you doing, Brian?
Man, as a fan, I am buzzing. I had some friends over on Sunday for the pay-per-view. I made some pulled chicken for tacos. And, man, I got to tell you, people were going crazy for that cage match in my apartment. People were going crazy for the finish of the show with Adam Cole and Brian Danielson coming out. Oh my goodness! And we put on your media scrum. It was fun to watch you do your thing.
Thank you very much. Yeah, the media scrum was like, I mean, to just kind of be involved with that night in any capacity. I mean, a huge honor. So, anyway. We got a lot to get to here today. I already see that we have a bunch of people in the comment section talking about Mick Foley. Yeah, Mick put out this video yesterday. We're going to get to here in just a second. And that broke the internet. We got some Kevin news that's breaking the internet. We're going to talk about that here today. Later on, if you're listening in audio form, you're going to get to hear the full audio from the Ruby Soho and Adam Cole media scrums from All Out that had Tony Khan. We're doing all of the scrums throughout the week here. Yesterday we had, who was it? Yesterday we had CM Punk and Lucha Brothers. And then tomorrow on the show, we'll have Brian Danielson and Tony Khan. So star-studded week here. Of course, if you're watching us in video form, you can go find the scrums over on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel already and take them in that way. Yeah, also at the end of the show for everybody, we'll dive into the mailbag. We're going to talk about Jeff Hardy as he's been trending recently as well. Dave in here. Hausman's at a 10. I need him at a 7. I'm sorry, Dave. It's a 10 kind of Wednesday. I drank my coffee an hour earlier, so I'm not feeling it in real time. You're getting full on into the show, Hausman, right up top, all the way through. It's in your face. It's in your ear holes. Let's get to it. Are you ready for some news you can use? News that'll leave a bruise, Brian?
Oh, yes, I am.
I am also ready for some bruising news here. And it was WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley who broke the internet yesterday with a video. And we have the video pulled up right here. If you're listening in an audio form, you're going to be able to hear it. But let's all watch Mick's video here together. Jump in the comment section. Let us know what you think. And then we'll talk about it on the other side.
Hello, this is the hardcore legend Mick Foley. I'd like to title this video WWE.
Did we lose the sound on that?
I guess we're not getting sound. Is nobody hearing this? Oh, we can't hear it, Nick. Everybody's saying. Well, damn it, everybody. This is supposed to work. 1 second. Let's see here. I've done this before. It worked just fine. I don't know what's happening right now. Well, what a bummer, BWO. I guess this isn't going to work right now. So I don't want to fix it in real time and spend too much time. But anyway.
That's all right.
We're going to talk about it here. It's basically Mick discussing how WWE has a problem right now where top-tier talent is not considering WWE a real option right now because of the way they see they're being treated over at AEW. And Mick is obviously a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. And his opinion matters, right? Like, I was a little surprised that Mick put this out. But not entirely surprised, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Mick has always spoken his mind, and he's not shy about that. One of the things that stuck out to me was Mick mentioned how discouraging it has been for young talent who have gotten over on the developmental brand NXT to have their characters dropped or altered once they get called up to the main roster. And so, you have top guys moving to AEW because they feel like it's a nicer environment. And then you have young developmental talent being discouraged and feeling like they don't have a real future. So, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, and for Mick to say, if I, it was in this position as a top talent, I would be picking AEW as a priority over WWE, that's a huge thing for Mick. I had a really good talk with Stu Myrick from down in Texas in his radio show this morning, and we were talking about this kind of topic at length. And I think the thing that I've kind of centered in on here is the advocacy for AEW, right? Like the people that work there advocate for that company. They say, this is the place to be. This is where the party's at. The fans advocate for AEW, say, this is where the party's at. This is the place to be. It's not that way over at WWE right now. In fact, it's like the opposite. You have fans saying, stay away. And you have people, and we're going to get to one here in just a second, basically saying, I don't want to be here. So, if that's what the people around you are saying, if your advocates are saying, you're DOA, man. I'm not talking about the 90s faction that feuded with Nation of Domination. I would say dead on arrival. This is a bad spot for them to be in. They have Mick is right. WWE has a real problem on their hands right now.
Yeah, and the most heartbreaking thing is they could really turn it around tomorrow. They have the personnel on that roster. They have a deeper roster, a more diverse roster, and they could turn it around tomorrow if they wanted. But they're not going, because the culture there just isn't, it's not going to produce that kind of product yet.
Yeah. So a couple things here. Let's see. We had a lot of comments early. Alonzo Smith. Well, Mick Foley's been hit on the head a lot during his career, so you can't really believe much of what he has to say. I'm just saying, Alonzo, I disagree with that. Mick hit the nail on the head, and he's a New York Times bestselling author. He did it in a very articulate, well thought out way. I think that Mick was saying some real truths there. Daniel Price. Foley's doing the same thing he did when he went to TNA. Then he went back to Vince when it wasn't like he thought. Yeah, WWE has problems, but so does AEW. Mick protests too much. Where is this hate for Mick coming from what he said? I mean, what Mick said seems like undeniably true. WWE has a real issue on their hands right now with the fans and wrestlers no longer advocating for the company. You're watching money kind of float out the door. You're watching money players float out the door. I know the only people that can really hold Vince accountable anymore seem to be the shareholders. I've got to believe even casual or non-casual wrestling fans that have an investment in this product are at least seeing the headlines right now about AEW and the moves they're making right now, and the narrative that WWE is losing their grip on the industry. I mean, something's going to give here a lot sooner than later, B-Wo.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the narrative is definitely shifted, and Vince is not in control of that anymore. They're going to have to make some changes at some point, because right now AEW is hot, and with these new acquisitions, man, they're going to start entering the international market.
Oh, yeah. Well, and they're already kind of in Japan, kind of just by means of exposure, right? With Kojima, Suzuki, Hikuleo, who was just there recently. Of course, the IWGP US title was an AEW title for a significant amount of time. That's a different kind of conversation. I don't know why that's back in New Japan's hands, but whatever. There's probably something to that. I just don't know what it is. But AEW, their footprint is growing day by day. There was a comment Tony made during one of the scrums. I don't really remember which one because he was in all of them. But he noted how he's done a lot of favors for people where he hopes that all those favors that he's doing are going to come back to help him in the end. And I think what he's kind of referencing is through this pandemic, Tony Khan helped a lot of promotions continue to exist, right? Or maintain a national presence of some kind, right? On the other side of this thing, when the business gets back to normal and Tony's going to want to flush out more internationally or whatever, he's going to have people that he did favors for that are going to probably help him get to where he wants to be. And when you think about where they're at now, plus that's a really dangerous pipe to look down, or barrel of the gun, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and let's not discount the power of their video game. If that thing comes out and it's awesome, man, it's going to have a whole new generation of fans.
Yeah, Keenan Cappan here. People scared of the truth. Mick is a legend. His opinion holds weight. 100% agree. Tina Miller here. AEW is coming off way different than TNA. AEW isn't perfect, but you can at least see they are trying to put out good product. WWE isn't trying. They don't care about the talents or fans. And I don't know that that's entirely true, but there is a kind of tone about that. I thought Raw, and I saw some people out there saying, this wasn't a bad Raw. Dude, I thought they blew it on Monday night. Half of that show was a gauntlet match. The first hour and then the last half hour, maybe more than half of that show was one long gauntlet match. Lazy. No big hook, nothing to sink my teeth into storyline-wise. Vince McMahon wasn't even backstage at the show. Like, that was Raw to me was not a good show. Raw to me was the waving of the white flag and asking everybody to please go away is what that felt like to me.
And for me, like, of course Vince isn't there. They just throw in this giant gauntlet match, and they don't even care about the tag division that much anyway. There was just like, yeah, it felt like we don't know what to do, so let's just have you guys wrestle and maybe we'll figure something out.
RC Allen here. AEW's appeal is the storytelling. I look at the story they're telling with the Dark Order. It's a perfect setup for a new leader to come in, and you might be right about that, right? RC. And two thoughts on that. First of all, yes, a lot of people in AEW have stories. The Dark Order kind of Civil War main evented the Dark tapings here at Dynamite or Rampage in Chicago. I think it was before Rampage. And that felt I don't want to say a big deal, but it felt important. It felt like there were stakes. I felt like I was emotionally connecting, and that's just like I don't want to say throwaway, but like that's just a secondary storyline for them. Maybe even a third. A lot of people have things, and I've been kind of, first of all, I'm skeptical of the kind of savage capitalism that has gone on in America and the idolization of billionaires. So, with that said, the billionaire saviors, right? Tony Khan undeniably understands wrestling. And you can have $1 billion and make some hay, right? Make some big noise. I mean, Ted Turner did that. But to understand the business and to book and to be able to manage day to day, that's an entirely different thing. And credit where it's due. Tony is doing that. Tony's doing a very good job of running a pro wrestling company right now and booking a pro wrestling company right now, which is not easy, right? Or at least being smart enough to listen to people that are great bookers backstage and allow them to help you mold your product. So a lot of things, right, going on with there. So I don't know. Anyway, a little bit of a tangent.
Yeah, Tony Khan keeps building stars. It's undeniable. And they're over. If you guys have not watched Dark this week, turn on Dark after this. You're going to really enjoy it. I watched it this morning, and it was man, I love wrestling. And you can tell that the people who make AEW love wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And that is what you heard Adam Cole saying in his scrum that you're going to hear later on. A big selling point to him was just, I know Tony, I know the passion Tony has for pro wrestling, and I want to feed off of that passion and be around other people that are passionate about pro wrestling. So on that note, BWO, now that we've got a whole bunch of people tuned in here, let's get to the the Mick stuff is big, but here's like the reason we started with that was to get to this. So Kevin Owens took to Twitter and he fueled rumors and speculation on his future with a change to his bio and a deleted tweet. So the speculation began when Owens tweeted the coordinates to Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. He then changed the location in his Twitter bio to almost there, which is seen as a reference to the Mount Rushmore coordinates, which have since been deleted from his Twitter feed. So for those that don't know, Mount Rushmore is the name of a stable that Owens was in with Adam Cole and AEW, or former AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, in 2013 to 2014. Owens ended up leaving the stable when he signed with WWE in 2014. He then left the group with a triple super kick from Cole and the Bucks. Now, Fightful is reporting that Kevin Owens' WWE contract is set to expire in January of 2022. That is a mere 3 months away. 3 and change, and not sometime in early 2023, which a lot of people assume because in 2018 he did an interview where he said he signed a 5-year deal, but it was noted that WWE restructured several contracts ahead of the pandemic, and Owens' contract was one of those deals that changed. I don't know why. The restructuring led to Owens' contract expiration date being changed to January 2022. No word on exactly why his deal was shortened, but WWE officials are aware of when Owens' contract expires, unlike the recent situation with Adam Cole. I'll throw it to you, Brian. What do you take away from this?
Well, I'm glad they're aware. I think that's an improvement.
Yeah. Good.
I feel like when it comes to Kevin Owens, this is a guy that WWE has to strive to keep. They just lost Roman Reigns' best opponent ever in Daniel Bryan, and Kevin Owens would be easily number 2, possibly even number 1. Roman Reigns' best matches this past year have been against Kevin Owens. That last man standing match at Royal Rumble, the match at TLC. This guy is a tremendous performer. And for WWE to have the opportunity to lose this superstar, I hope they do what they can to keep him. But man, what sticks out in my mind is that pop at War Games when Kevin Owens came out to take on the Undisputed Era at War Games. That pop. And if he comes out at AEW, you better believe you're going to hear a big pop.
Yeah, and Kevin Owens fits the mold of an AEW star, right? I mean, it's really interesting. Like Samoa Joe's got to feel left out here because it's like an ROH reunion over at AEW at the moment,
It's like ROH and PWG, a little bit of both.
Where's Homicide? Come on.
Soon.
Ruckus for that matter. Anyway, ROH, it is. It's like an ROH reunion over there right now. I think, I said this yesterday. If there's a ticket to ride over at AEW, you take the ticket right now. I think you're a fool not to, right? I mean, you look at the momentum, you look at the historic gravitas of what is going on at AEW right now. I felt cool just being a part of the scrum, right? I was like, wow, I'm one of like 20 people that are sitting here talking to Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole and Ruby Soho after this like hugely significant, like historic night. To be actually part of the show, to be part of that narrative, to see how happy everybody is, to see how your clout gets raised, to see how your value gets raised. I mean, and the ability to work and do independent stuff outside of the company to make even more money beyond whatever Tony Khan's going to pay you. I mean, Vince and WWE, if they want to compete with that, are going to have to completely reshuffle the deck and change their model, like a massive overhaul, right? And I'm not talking a new logo and the In Living Color theme song, okay? I mean, a real overhaul. But part of me thinks, they're not going for the AEW crowd, right? Like they've made up their mind that we're going to go for families, right? We're going to go for kids. So the parents will buy tickets and t-shirts and, maybe that'll work, right? Maybe for them and their bottom line and their shareholders, maybe it works. I'm starting to become skeptical that that's the method. But with that said, like, how weird is it if like that's kind of what they've resigned to? And I know we do post shows and stuff, and I have no problems. I think the post shows are great. We have very talented people giving their thoughts on these shows, but it's like, why are adults talking about the creative of like SpongeBob SquarePants? It's not a show booked for adults anymore. It's a show that's booked for kids. And like when I go to a WWE show, I'm surrounded by kids. I went to AEW, I saw like a couple kids. Some of them were in the scrums.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I just it's just becoming weird to me. Like the product WWE has is just it's not for us anymore, Brian. It's just and maybe they want to change that, maybe they don't, for the reasons I said. But it's not a show for adults anymore. It's a show for kids.
I don't know who it's for. They don't even deliver on the matches they advertise. The last 3 WWE shows I've been to, the attractions that were advertised for the event did not appear. So, like, come on. You got to
Yeah.
be kidding me.
But that's the thing is, like, for some people, like Nikki Ash, she's like, hey, I want to appeal to kids. That's my demo. I don't want to go, on the same show as like somebody getting chopped up with a pizza cutter or, thrusting their genitals in each other's faces. That's not for some people, right? So, and I'm not saying that's how Nikki Ash feels or anything, but I mean, she's obviously made the strong decision that if she's going to work there, play to what they want. I'm going to go be a kid superhero, right? And if that's what you want to do, Godspeed. But it's not, if you want to go out and entertain adults and be cool and make money, AEW is the place for you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish the best for Kevin Owens. I hope things go great for him and he gets whatever contract that he so desires. I know WWE has always been a big dream of his. He's already held the Universal Championship. Maybe he can get that WWE Championship and hit all of his goals.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. Kevin Owens, Brian Danielson, Adam Cole, CM Punk, all there. And you got Christopher Daniels in the back as their, day-to-day talent relations guy who knows exactly what his friends want to hear and do and say. That is a recipe for, I don't know if it's quite yet a threat. I feel like it's coming for WWE, especially if the shareholders start asking questions. And, it's already kind of started, I guess, with the networks like USA being like, hey, why is Fox getting Brock and Becky? Like, it's like, don't worry about it, pal. We got an 8-team gauntlet match to fill up an hour and a half of Raw. That gauntlet match went about as long as SmackDown did. Like,
I enjoy a good gauntlet match from time to time, but it's excessive. What keeps coming to mind for me as we think about these notes from the network and all this stuff. I recently listened to the Grill and JR episode of Clash of the Champions 16, where like the network tells WCW they need new stars and they got to repackage guys. And they're kind of like just rearranging everyone and they give them a new gimmick. And I wonder what WWE is going to do, because I feel like they need a major overhaul. And I wonder if we're just going to see people with new gimmicks.
King Rail here. If WWE set up Bobby versus Brock or Bobby versus Austin, which is insane, everyone will be back on the WWE train Raw. I don't 100% agree with you, King Rail. I think there is a point, though, there about Vince's method, right? Like, the kinds of performers that Vince is going to focus on are not indie guys and those wrestlers. He wants Brocks. He wants Gable Stevensons, right? He wants athletes that he can mold, or generational talent who are dependent on the industry and that he can kind of, work with a little easier. It's a very again, is it going to pay off? Does this work for Vince? Like, it's as much as we want to say smart, savvy business strategy, I mean, it's a gamble too, right? It could also not work, this decision to go to families and stuff. And that's when maybe we see the old Vince saying, hey, we got to get some attitude in here. We got to do some stuff that, is going to get us more people watching and buying things, even if that goes against kind of what we've been doing past couple of years or so.
And I think what makes a show great is a diverse and deep roster. And if you populate the roster with a bunch of giant muscle men, it's going to be hard to get excited when every single match goes the same way.
Yeah. It's not just Kevin Owens. Raw superstar Angel Garza got his followers buzzing Tuesday with a tweet containing an hourglass emoji and an eyes emoji. This led to fans speculating on his future with WWE. Over the past few weeks, Garza has posted several I'm here tweets during live broadcasts of Raw, mostly whilst responding to fans that miss him. So another talent here, passively, not so passively, screaming into the void. Another talent that is not a Punk or a Brian, but more of kind of like in a 2.0 type vein that would, help them appeal more to that Latino demo, which they're trying to do more with, obviously, with Lucha Brothers and Angel El Idolo. So, again, dude, it's like if you know there's a ticket to ride, or maybe there's a ticket to ride, it's got to be tough to be sitting there staring at the wall watching the clock go by.
Yeah, Angel Garza is a great wrestler, and when Paul Heyman believed in him and featured him as a major star on Raw, man, he delivered. He was one of the highlights of Raw when that was going on. Him with the pants, ripping off the pants, and the rose bit, and that kind of gimmick. You could put that guy with anybody. You could put him with anybody. Everybody could have an issue with him and his pants.
Yeah,
like there's so many things you can do with that guy, and he can clearly wrestle with anybody that you put him against. Like, God, how can you not find a spot for Angel Garza on your roster?
Slam Hub Wrestling, Angel Garza, super talented, agree. Ex-Pizza Wings, appeal to the demo that enjoys pants being ripped off like this guy right here. Oh, my God. Well, hey, you know what? We talk about Vince maybe hitting the button here, panic button. We need some attitude. Who do you call? Well, guess what, everybody? Vince Russo tweeted the following thing out yesterday. Worked with WWE this past Friday out a project, I think, for Peacock. Pleasurable experience. All involved were pros and respectable. I really do hope that those who need to see my comments see them. While I don't want a job, I am always looking to help the biz in any way that I can. Of course you are, Vince. I'm not a huge Russo fan, and it is really bad timing, I think, considering everything we've been talking about right now, for them to be saying, hey, Vince Russo's back in the fold. I just think it's really bad. Like, it's just a really bad thing. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know if you have any thoughts on Russo being back in their bubble. So,
he's not my favorite.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Lastly here, before we get to Ruby Soho and Adam Cole's scrums, and then we're going to talk about an underutilized WWE talent at the moment, Jeff Hardy, which is a crazy thing to say. But the Observer saying AEW did attempt to get the final countdown for Brian Danielson at AEW All Out. However, the rights to the song reportedly too costly for AEW. That's where they drew the line. Danielson initially came out to his theme song from WWE, Fly to the Valkyries by Wilhelm Richard Wagner, before the theme transitioned into Born for Greatness. Danielson has not yet been announced for either this week's Dynamite or Rampage. I'd be a little surprised if he doesn't show up tonight, but whatever. It is funny, though, right? This is where they draw the line. This is too costly. The final countdown.
I think the final countdown. What I saw is I think it's $50,000 a play or something like that.
Is it?
Yeah, it's insane how much it costs. And so like it's some sort of ridiculous cost, and to be able to have that in perpetuity, I can't imagine the cost. But oh boy,
yeah.
So,
and I know some people had issues with the song or whatever. And they wanted Final Countdown. I kind of think starting with Fly to the Valkyries, which a lot more people know for him, is way smarter. And it's Fly to the Valkyries, right? He's a big hippie, right? A song written about a woman descending on a Valkyrie into battle. What more progressive, awesome way for Brian to continue to be great, right? Anyway.
Yeah. And it also gets the Platoon fans in there, too.
Oh, there you go. All right, everybody. I want to thank Brian for joining me to talk the news today. Thank you all for joining us today as well. Your comments have been great. We're not done yet. We have a little bit more to go here with the mailbag. And if you want to participate in the mailbag, you want to vote in our daily polls at Wink Daily, WINC Daily. That's the account to follow. We are at 1,247 followers. We are on the road to 1,300. But really the goal, if you want to help us out and go follow us, is by Halloween, I'd like us to have 1,666 followers, so we can do some kind of Satan type ritual, something really spooky here on the show. So help us get there. I'll channel the devil, right? I'll channel the devil. What a selling point. Okay, so today's poll question stems from the fact that Jeff Hardy was still trending yesterday after he appeared on Raw chasing the WWE 24/7 title. Matt Hardy tweeted the following. Going to retweet this Jeff Hardy birthday post because he's trending on Twitter, because Brother Nero is universally, interesting word, loved, and we all want the best for him. What are your thoughts, first of all, on the state of Jeff Hardy?
it's pretty heartbreaking. It's par for the course with WWE, with the way they treat their veterans and legends. And Jeff Hardy is a living legend. The dude is the favorite wrestler of an entire generation of young people, and to see him not in a meaningful program, and then you watch AEW and how they treat Sting and Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, and even wrestlers that are still going, like Matt Hardy, his brother, who is in charge of his own stable, and he's attached to younger wrestlers. You could put Jeff Hardy with any young wrestler and it would be exciting. And we're not, I don't know. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. As a Jeff Hardy fan, I don't know, man.
Yeah. So it looks like Jeff Hardy's contract isn't up till the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. I guess the latest report I could find was Fightful saying that from earlier this year. So if that's the case, Jeff's going to have to just make the best of whatever he's being told to do right now. It does feel like they're maybe trying to devalue him a bit or whatever in their mind, Carney style, they think they're doing, because it feels like a layup that when his contract is up, he'd probably go join his brother in AEW and put on some banger matches with the Young Bucks, right? And right into the sunset doing something like that. So I don't really know. Tough to say what's going on with Jeff, right?
Yeah.
So the poll question today, what do you most want to see Jeff Hardy doing in WWE? The options I gave: find a new tag team partner, feud for the WWE title, go to NXT, or something else. Over 550 votes here. 35.2% want him to go to NXT, 34.8% feud for the WWE title, 18.7% something else, and only 11.3% would like him to find a new tag team partner. What would you ideally like to see Jeff Hardy doing in WWE?
Man, I'd love to see him have a feud with a younger wrestler. Give somebody the rub, or just have something meaningful, anything meaningful, instead of being an extra in a scene. Like, this is ridiculous. This is a former WWE champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is wild. I kind of, I lean go NXT, but we have no idea what NXT is going to look like here pretty soon. Yeah. I mean, if this was NXT of 3 years ago, I'd be like, drop Jeff Hardy in there, let him roll around with the kids, write out his contract, and be a big draw there, and whatever, right? Like that seems like a layup for Jeff. Now, it's like we don't know what it's going to be, right? So, like, if they're not going to, do something with him, I guess you could put him in the U.S. title picture, right? Or you could, I don't know, use him like they're using Randy, pair him up with somebody that, they think could get the rub off of being Jeff Hardy's tag team partner. It doesn't feel like they're going to put the faith in him to be in the world title picture right now. So I don't know. I don't know what there is for Jeff right now in WWE. What a weird, strange time for him there.
I mean, there's Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, so many high flyers that he could be paired with that are not being used very well. I mean, do something with Sami Zayn. I don't know. There's so many things.
Yeah.
It breaks my brain, man. It breaks my brain just seeing it's Jeff Hardy.
I'd love after that, like they've been doing those NXT like painting vignettes where it's all the colors and stuff. I'd love like on the debut it just pans out and it's just been Jeff Hardy throwing paint at a wall the whole time. And he's like, "This is the new NXT."
That would be awesome. Just anything, man. Jeff Hardy versus Samoa Joe. That'd be a great match.
Yeah, X Pizza Wings here. Jeff Hardy, Dexter Lumis. They could have an art off.
God, that would be so awesome. I'd watch that.
All right, we'll get back to some of the comments here from the multiple social platforms that we're on at the moment. Read a couple comments here from Twitter first. Stunning Steve 82, better off leaving WWE. When the time comes, I guess he'll try to. At DTony _ Montana, John Cena style mid-card run, WWE title seems like a bit much, especially if you don't think you could trust him. But a great mid-card run a la John Cena, Sheamus, or Bobby Lashley could work really well. It just it seems like they're using that title to heat up younger talent right now. I love Damian Priest with that U.S. title. I guess you could flip him over to SmackDown and have him go for the IC title. Honestly, and I hate to say, just send him to maybe SmackDown's the new NXT. Like, if you want to have a good career and succeed, go to SmackDown. Maybe that's the better option for Jeff, isn't it?
I mean, they got the best commentary team. They've got the best production. Yeah, SmackDown.
I like Danny Cochran here pointing out that Jeff did just recently have COVID, and it takes some people longer to recover from COVID than others. Maybe Hardy just wasn't ready for an ongoing program. It's a really smart observation. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, well, shows my ignorance there. You
Yeah.
got me. Thank God we have very smart listeners.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Let's see here. At Mirzabalaga, Jeff to NXT would be so sick, to be honest, but I'd like to see a universal title chase for him, as it would be the one title he's never held before, but that would mean he'd have to beat Roman Reigns. And I'm sorry, champions of Europe, I just don't see that one happening right now. I just don't.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We have at Barrow _ Sama 93. I definitely don't want him running around in a conga line with no storyline. Bada-bump. Yeah, right. We have a lot of people writing to just leave. We have at 69 Sport Guy 420. I kind of want him to form a tag team with Edge if Edge comes to Raw in the draft. That'd be kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Break them up. You know, maybe Edge turns on Jeff. Jeff turns on Edge. You could do a program out of that too. I don't hate it.
Or they could call themselves the New Brood.
The New Brood. At KNK 2110. He should be Alexa Bliss's sidekick. Sure, Lily and Jeff. Why not?
Yeah.
What's his other alter ego? Willow? Is that what he is?
Oh, yeah.
Is it Willow? Is that the other one?
Yeah, he is Willow and the brother Nero.
Yeah, but these guys.
And
no, there's the weed, the whatever he goes. He's all. What's that character called? Not Tumbleweed. It's something weed. If anybody could think of it, please let us know in the comment section. We also have here a lot of other people writing to leave. We have a video graphic here of AEW's Jeff Hardy is All Elite, maybe an inevitability in time. We have Willow the Wisp is what Aubrey James said. Is the name of the full name. We have here, what else do we have about? Alonzo Smith, if Jeff Hardy found a tag team partner on Raw, who would it be? He's a tag team specialist. Yeah, you mentioned a couple good ones. Ricochet, Cedric Alexander. There's definitely people, right? At Dion working in development at the school. Sure. I think he'd be great, but that's not really an on-screen goal for him. I don't know that he's ready to resign himself to being a coach quite yet. Although he'd obviously be a benefit down there. King Rail, make him a manager, build new talent like his brother. I'm adding like his brother, right? That's how they're using Matt. Yeah.
And every once in a while he gets physical, just make it feel special, because Jeff Hardy is special. If you see him come out in an arena, he still gets a major pop. People love Jeff Hardy.
Lee Thorne, Itchweed. That's the name of the other Jeff Hardy character, Willow and Itchweed. Go look up Jeff Hardy as Itchweed, and it's like if you got a toxic shock all the time. That's him. So anyway, look for it. You can look for it later. Last thing here. Let's read one more. Swerve Willow the dog. That's my dog from Mazel Pompous. All right.
I did just look up Bitchweed. Oh my gosh, scary.
So thank you all so much for tuning in today. Brian, thank you for the wonderful punditry. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be joined by Paul Pratt, a.k.a. Polio Del Mar, coming off of a fantastic job hosting Big Gay Brunch here in Chicago. I was at that show. We'll talk all about that and whatever happens here in the next 24 hours. It seems anything can here in pro wrestling anymore. And, of course, tomorrow on the show, not just me and Paul, also the full audio from Daniel Bryan's Media Scrum with Tony Khan from AEW All Out. And if you like the Wrestling Inc. Daily, support WrestlingInc.com. We're on all the socials. And the Wrestling Inc. podcast is just like this, only at night after all the major shows. Go support that here and, of course, on all the major podcast platforms. Brian, what do you want to plug, promote, put over here to wrap up the show?
Oh, man, check out my podcast, My Favorite Friendship, wherever you get your podcast. Check out the archives to look for the episode we did on the friendship of Vince McMahon and Pat Patterson. Vince has been under fire quite a lot recently, and I think he could use a friend. So maybe give that a listen, and it'll give you an idea of what Vince is like in friendship.
Okay. I'm actually fascinated, and we'll be throwing that on here this week after I finish all of my Nerdy Crooked Media podcast. So, all right, wonderful. Brian, doing great work. You're all wonderful. I'm at Nick_Hausman. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked, you didn't.